The woman in the corner seat, it was raining again. Soft drops tapped on the train windows like fingers trying to get someone's attention. The sky outside was the same color as the metal floor of the train, cold, gray, and tired. People stared at their phones or out the windows, avoiding eye contact like it was something dangerous. The train rolled forward through the city, carrying strangers who all had their own reasons for not speaking. Keanu Reeves sat near the middle of the car. Wearing a simple black hoodie and jeans, he had a cap pulled low, not to hide who he was, but because he didn't want to be seen right now, not as the actor, not as the star, just as a person. He wasn't running from anything. He wasn't chasing anything either. He just wanted peace. But today, peace wasn't what the world had planned. He noticed her before anyone else did. A woman, sitting alone in the far corner seat, head bent, face half hidden by her long brown hair. Her shoulders shook just slightly, almost like she was cold, but the heating on the train was working fine. Keanu watched for a moment longer, then noticed her hand moving quickly up to her face. She wasn't shivering. She was wiping away tears. There was something about the way she tried to be invisible that struck him. Not just sadness, but the kind of sadness that doesn't want to bother anyone. The kind that's been going on too long to still have a name. She didn't look homeless. She wasn't begging for attention. She just looked like someone who had held him too much for too long, and it was finally leaking out. Keanu took a breath. He knew that feeling. He stood up slow and quiet and walked down the car, ignoring a couple of sideways glances. People weren't sure it was really him. Didn't care. When he reached her seat, he didn't say anything right away. Just sat in the empty spot across from her. She didn't look up. Not at first. "Bad day?" he said softly. The woman looked up, startled. Her eyes were red, but still sharp. Her lips trembled like she was about to answer, but she hesitated, and she saw who was talking. Her breath caught. "You're just a guy on a train," Keanu said with the faintest smile. She let out a small sound, half laugh, half sob. She wiped her eyes again. "This is weird." "It'd be weird is what you need," he said. The train shook gently as it turned a corner. Lights flickered for half a second. "What's your name?" he asked Anna. She whispered. "Anna de Armas." His eyebrows lifted slightly. He hadn't expected that. He knew who she was. They'd worked on different films, seen each other at events, but they'd never really spoken. She noticed his surprise. "Yeah," she said, voice bitter. "That Anna." Keanu leaned back in the seat, not saying anything, just letting the silence sit between them. Finally, she spoke again. "It's been a long year. Want to talk about it?" She looked at him, really looked. And something in her expression shifted. Maybe it was the way he asked. Maybe it was the way he didn't push. "I don't know where to start," she said. "Start anywhere." So she did. Anna talked quietly, voice almost drowned by the rumble of the train. She talked about losing someone, her mother. She talked about how everyone expected her to keep smiling, to keep showing up on red carpets and pretending everything was okay. How the cameras never showed the parts where she sat alone in her apartment, wondering if anyone really knew her. "They think we have everything," she said. "They don't see how empty it feels." Keanu nodded slowly. "They only see the light, never the shadows behind it." She blinked hard. A single tear rolled down her cheek. She didn't wipe it this time. "I've had nights," she said, "where I just stared at the ceiling, asking God if this is it. If this ... loneliness is what I worked so hard for." Keanu looked out the window for a second. The city flashed by, tall buildings and flashing lights. He knew the feeling too well. Double quotes. "I lost my partner years ago," he said. "Then my daughter. Different times." But it felt like the same kind of silence afterward. Like the world kept spinning, but I wasn't on it anymore. Anna's eyes softened. "And people still ask you for autographs?" she said. "Yeah," he said. "I give them, because maybe that's their light. But it doesn't mean I don't feel the dark." For a while, they sat in silence, and then Anna asked the question no one ever really asks. "How did you come back from it?" Keanu turned to her. "I didn't," he said quietly. "I just ... Made friends with the sadness, stopped fighting it. Started walking with it instead of running away. The train stopped at a station. People got off. New ones got on. Oh. Someone recognized Keanu and tried to take a picture, but he raised a hand, gentle but firm. Not now. Anna looked out the window. Her reflection stared back tired eyes, but maybe just a little clearer. Thank you, she said. I didn't expect ... this. Keanu smiled again. Not the movie star smile. Just a real one. Neither did I. She took a shaky breath.
Ken.
I ask you something crazy? Sure. Stay with me. Just for today. I don't want to go home alone. Keanu didn't hesitate. Okay. And just like that, two strangers, carrying quiet griefs, stepped off the train together into the rain. No one cheered. No cameras followed. But something shifted like the first break in a storm. Cloud, neither of them knew what was coming, but they knew this. They weren't alone anymore. The quiet cafe, and a question nobody asked. They stepped into a small cafe near the station, the kind that smells like old wood, fresh coffee, and forgotten stories. The place was nearly empty, just an old man reading the newspaper in the corner, and a couple whispering near the window. Anna's hair was damp, her coat dripping with soft rain, but she didn't care. Keanu held the door for her, then followed behind without saying a word. The barista looked up but didn't recognize either of them, not right away. Maybe that was the gift of ordinary places. People didn't expect stars to show up in their silence. They took a seat by the wall. A candle flickered on the table. It wasn't romantic, it was just real. You cold? Keanu asked gently. Anna shook her head. No, just not used to someone staying. He nodded, then raised a hand to order. 2 black coffees, no sugar. Simple. They sat quietly for a moment. Hands wrapped around warm cups, the hum of the espresso machine filling the air between them. How did you know? Anna asked. Suddenly, Keanu tilted his head. Know what? That I wasn't okay. Took a sip of his coffee, eyes steady. Because I know that look. I've worn it. Anna looked down, then gave a small, sad laugh. I thought I was hiding it. You were, he said. But people like us, ... we recognize the cracks. Even behind the smile. Anna leaned back, staring at the ceiling like she was searching for a star that didn't exist. I thought being famous would feel different, she said, like it would fix something inside. But it doesn't, Keanu replied. No, she whispered. It just makes the silence louder. A long pause then, without warning, Keanu asked her something simple but powerful. What would you do if no one expected anything from you? Anna blinked. What do you mean? No one was watching. No cameras, no fans, no pressure. What would you do tomorrow morning if the world forgot your name? She stared at him. No one had ever asked her that. Double quotes, I think, she said slowly. I'd go to the ocean, not to be seen, to sit on the sand with my shoes off, to feel something real. Keanu smiled. You. He looked away. I'd find a cabin somewhere, write letters to people I never got to say goodbye to. Anna leaned forward, elbows on the table. You ever do that? Not yet, he said, but maybe it's time. They talked for hours, not about movies, not about premieres or awards. They talked about fears and memories and how strange it felt to be praised by millions and still feel unseen. Anna told him about her first audition, when she'd flown across the ocean without knowing a single person. She talked about the time. Her father got sick and she couldn't fly back in time. The guilt still sat in her chest like a rock. Keanu listened, not as someone who was trying to fix her, just as someone who understood. Then Anna asked him something she hadn't planned. Why did you come talk to me today? Keanu didn't answer right away. He looked down at his coffee, now cold. Because I think sometimes we meet people, right? When we need to. If I hadn't said something, I would have regretted it. Anna smiled faintly. So you believe in that? Fate? I believe in timing, he said, and in paying attention. The cafe started to fill up with evening guests. The sky outside turned deep blue, the rain finally slowing. Keanu checked his watch, then looked at her. Want to go for a walk? Anna nodded. Yeah, I think I need air. They paid in cash. No autographs. No attention. Just two souls in quiet clothes stepping out into the healing night. As they walked, Anna told him something she hadn't even told her therapist. Sometimes I think about disappearing, she said. Not in a sad way. Just ... quietly, leaving it all. Keanu stopped walking. I've thought that too, he said. They stood on the edge of a small park, leaves damp from the rain. As the streetlight above them buzzed gently. Felt like they had stepped out of time. But you stayed, she said. You didn't disappear. Because someone once told me something I never forgot, Keanu said. They said don't leave yet. Your story's still unfolding. You just can't see the next chapter yet. Anna bit her lip. That helped. Gave me one more day, he said. And that day led to this one. A deep silence followed. Then Anna asked the question that would change everything. What IF? We helped each other. Just for a while. It's not as actors. Not as friends even. Just two people trying to stay above water. Keanu didn't smile. Not yet, but he nodded. I'd like that. They sat on a bench under the trees. No script, no spotlight. Just two hearts, breathing. Somewhere a dog barked. A kid laughed. Life went on, and for the first time in months, Anna didn't feel like disappearing. She felt like beginning again. One rule they don't talk about Hollywood's next morning came with a soft breeze and the smell of fresh coffee from the small bakery downstairs. Anna woke up in her apartment not alone, but with a different kind of company. Peace, it sat. Near the window like sunlight, quiet and kind. Keanu had gone home the night before, only after making a promise. Tomorrow, same time. No pressure, just company. Anna had smiled at that. It was the first real smile she'd felt in weeks. Maybe longer. And now the morning felt different. It's not perfect, not fixed, but ... lighter. At exactly 10:30, her phone buzzed. Keanu walk. Anna? Yes, they met at a small park near the river. He wore the same hoodie. She wore a faded denim jacket, hair tied back, like she didn't care about being seen. No makeup, no glam. Just skin and eyes and breath. We should make a rule, Anna said as they walked past a row of sycamore trees. What kind? No Hollywood talk, no work, no interviews. Just ... real life. Keanu nodded. I like that. Okay, she said. Rule number 1, no industry talk. He raised a finger. Rule number 2, if one of us starts crying, the other doesn't try to fix it, just stays. Deal. They shook on it, like kids agreeing to some secret mission. As they strolled, they passed a small playground. Was trying to climb the monkey bars, but kept slipping, each time he got up again. He didn't look at his parents for help. He just tried. Anna watched him. It used to be like that. You still are, Keanu said softly. She looked at him, surprised. You showed up yesterday when it would have been easier to stay in bed, he said. That counts. They sat down on a nearby bench. Birds chirped somewhere overhead. Wind smelled like green things in old earth. Anna pulled out something from her pocket. A tiny piece of folded paper. I wrote this last night, she said. When I couldn't sleep, she handed it to him. He opened it carefully. Sighed. One sentence. I think I forgot how to be a person. Keanu read it twice, then folded it back and handed it to her. Then maybe we remind each other, he said. Anna didn't answer. Her throat was too tight, so they sat quietly. After a while, they found a street vendor selling roasted almonds. Keanu bought 2 bags, one for her, one for himself. They ate as they walked, like they had all the time. In the world, Anna asked a question out of nowhere. What's the kindest thing a stranger ever did for you? Keanu thought for a moment. Once, I missed a flight, was stuck at an airport overnight. A janitor saw me trying to sleep on a chair and brought me a blanket. Didn't say anything, just left it and walked away. Anna smiled. You, he said. She looked at him, confused. You're the kindest stranger, he said. Or, you were. Not sure what we are now. Anna blushed a little, eyes shining. Weird friends? I'll take that. They ended the walk near a tiny bookstore tucked between 2 apartment buildings. The windows were dusty. The door creaked. Inside, the air smelled like old stories and ink. They wandered without speaking. All of them moved slowly, fingers brushing. Worn book spines like they were searching for something. Anna stopped at a shelf near the back and picked out a thin book with a cracked spine. "What is it?" Keanu asked. "A book my mom used to read me," she said. "God, it's about a bird that forgets how to fly." "Does it learn again?" "Yes," she said. "But only after it meets another bird who walks instead of flies. Together they figure out a new way to live." He nodded. "I like that." She bought the book, insisted on paying. It mattered to her. As they walked out, Keanu paused on the steps. "You know," he said, "this feels like something." "What do you mean? I don't know yet," he admitted, "but something." Anna didn't say anything. Instead, she reached into the bag, pulled out the book, and handed it to him. "Then this is yours," she said. "Until we figure out what that something is." Keanu took it gently. His fingers touched hers, just briefly. It was like a tiny electricity passed between them, warm. "Not sharp. Thank you," he whispered. They didn't hug. They didn't need to. They just walked away slowly. Side by side, the city humming around them. A block away, a car passed, and someone shouted Keanu's name. He flinched slightly. Anna noticed. "Do you want to disappear with me for a while?" she asked. He looked at her, really looked. "Yes," he said. "Just not forever. Just enough to breathe," she said. And so they made a plan. A cabin. No press, no phones. Just silence, books, walks, and tea. Anna booked it that night. 2 days from now, just a few hours outside the city. Neither of them knew what would happen, but both of them knew one thing. They were ready to stop surviving and start living again. Together. The cabin in the quiet woods. 2 days later, just after sunrise, Anna stood at the edge of the forest road, suitcase in one hand, coffee in the other. The cabin wasn't fancy. It was small, wooden, and tucked between tall pines that looked like they had stood there for 100 years. She looked at the empty path behind her, then up at the sky. The morning light filtered through the trees like golden mist. It felt like stepping into a dream where no one could find her. No cameras, no expectations, just stillness. A soft hum of an engine broke the silence. Keanu's car pulled up, slow and careful. Stepped out, wearing a gray sweater, jeans, and a soft look in his eyes. Not the smile for fans. It's not the polite kindness. Something else, gentle, unsure, but open. "You ready?" I asked. Anna nodded. "I think so." They carried their bags inside. The cabin smelled like pine wood, cinnamon, and old books. The fireplace was cold, but the feeling inside wasn. There was only one rule. No past, no future. Only today. Keanu wrote it on a napkin and stuck it to the fridge. Anna laughed when she read it. "You're serious? It's only about the right things," he said. They spent the first few hours unpacking. Anna took the bedroom near the window. Keanu chose the one near the fireplace. They didn't talk much. They didn't need to. By afternoon, they were sitting on the porch, sipping tea and listening to birds. Real birds. Not sounds from a movie set, not background noise. Just nature, singing for no one. "I feel like I've never heard silence before," Anna whispered. "It's louder than people think," Keanu said. After lunch, they walked into the forest. The path was narrow but clear. Trees rose above them like towers. Sunlight danced through the leaves. Every few steps, Anna would pause and just breathe. "You okay?" Keanu asked once. "Yeah," she said. "I just forgot how to be still." They reached a small lake. The water was still, reflecting the trees and sky like a mirror. Anna took off her shoes, stepped into the shallow edge, and let the cold water wrap around her feet. Keanu stood nearby, hands in his pockets, watching her with quiet respect. "You look lighter," he said. "I feel lighter," she replied. "Like the grief isn't gone, but it's not crushing me today." Keanu picked up a stone and skipped it across the surface. It made for small skips before sinking. "That's the trick," he said. "Not to get rid of pain, but just to carry it better." Anna looked at him. "You carry it well," he smiled faintly. "Not always, but I try." As the sun began to dip behind the trees, they walked back in silence. At the cabin, Anna lit a fire while Keanu made dinner. Just pasta and vegetables, nothing fancy. They ate by the fire, sitting on the floor, plates in their laps. Remember, rule number 1? Anna asked. No Hollywood talk? She nodded. Double quotes. I think it saved me, she said. Just ... being seen without being seen. Keanu looked at her, eyes soft. You've always been more than what they say about you. Anna blinked back tears. So have you. That night, as the wind whispered through the trees, they sat on the porch under a blanket, watching the stars. Anna pointed at one. That one's mine. What does it mean? Hope, she said. Keanu pointed at another. Mine's peace. They sat like that for a long time, until her head gently rested on his shoulder. Neither of them said a word. They didn't need to the next day. It rained, not the city kind of rain that ruins your plans. This rain was soft, slow, cleansing. They stayed inside, made pancakes, played cards, and read books by the window. At one point, Anna looked at him and said, This is the happiest I've been in years. Keanu didn't answer. He just took her hand and held it, not as a promise, but as a moment. That night, as they sat by the fire, Keanu pulled out a notebook. The one he always carried, but never showed anyone. I used to write letters, he said. 2 people I lost, I never sent them. Just wrote them to get things out. Can I hear one? Anna asked. He nodded slowly, then read one aloud. It was to his daughter. The words were raw, trembling. Not polished like a script, just real. Anna cried quietly when he finished. She said, You should write a book. Maybe he said, or maybe this. Being here is enough. They stayed up late, talking about dreams they had let go of, and dreams they still held in secret. Anna admitted she once wanted to be a teacher. Keanu said he sometimes imagined running a bookstore. Maybe someday, Anna whispered. Maybe. Keanu agreed, but neither of them was in a rush. Because for the first time in a long time, they weren't escaping the world. They were learning how to live in it again, together. The storm and the story they didn't want to tell. The third night in the cabin started with a storm, not the quiet kind. This one came like a giant exhale from the earth wind, shaking the trees. Rain pounding the windows, thunder rolling across. The sky like a drum beat, no one could stop. Inside, the fireplace crackled, casting shadows across the wooden walls. Anna sat on the rug, knees to her chest, wrapped in a thick blanket. Keanu was on the couch nearby, writing something in his notebook again. For a long time, neither of them spoke. The rain did all the talking. Then, without lifting her head, Anna whispered, There's something I never told anyone. Keanu closed the notebook. She didn't look at him. She stared into the flames. I almost quit last year, she said. Not acting, not the industry. Life. Keanu's face didn't change, but his eyes became still, listening completely. Was after a shoot. I had spent 3 months pretending to be strong, to smile, to perform. I got back home, locked the door, and I just ... fell. She swallowed hard. I took sleeping pills, not a lot, but enough. I just wanted quiet. I didn't want to be gone, just wanted to stop feeling like a fraud. Keanu moved from the couch, slowly, like the floor might break if he moved too fast. He sat beside her on the rug, just close enough. What stopped you? He asked softly. Anna let out a shaky breath. My mom's voice, in my head. She used to say, no matter how dark it gets, wait for morning. Always wait for morning. Keanu nodded. And you? Anna looked at him. Have you ever been that close? He looked into the fire for a long time. Once he said, years ago, after I lost both of them. I sat on a hotel balcony with a bottle and a letter I'd written, but then a bird landed next to me, just ... stood there, didn't fly away. It looked at me like I was supposed to stay. Anna didn't say anything. She just reached out and gently placed her hand over his. They sat like that, holding the storm outside and the storm inside. We should talk about something else, Anna said eventually. Something stupid. Keanu smiled. Okay, tell me your most embarrassing moment. Anna laughed, the sound soft and beautiful. Once, during a live interview, I forgot the name of the director I had just worked with. Completely blanked. Called him Michael when his name was David. He was sitting next to me. Keanu chuckled. Once fell asleep during a movie premiere. Your own movie. But, yep, Anna laughed again. No way. Jet lag. He said, but the photo went viral. People thought I was meditating. They spent the next hour trading stories. It's nothing serious. Just silly human things. Dropping phones in toilets. Forgetting lines. Tripping on red carpets by the time the storm started to quiet. The fire had burned down to soft, glowing embers. Anna leaned her head on Keanu's shoulder. I feel like I'm not pretending anymore, she said. You're not, he whispered. Neither. Are you? He looked at her then. Really looked. There's something I need to say, he began. Anna lifted her head slightly. This started as kindness. But it's not just that anymore, he said. Being here with you, I feel something I didn't expect. She held his gaze. Her voice was quiet. I feel it too. The air changed. They didn't kiss. They didn't need to. Their eyes said everything. But that moment passed like a quiet wave. Anna stood up, smiling gently. Not tonight, she said. Okay, Keanu replied, his voice full of calm understanding. Not tonight. The next morning, the sky was clear. The storm had scrubbed the world clean. They made breakfast together, eggs, toast, and oranges. Anna played music on her phone. Old Spanish songs her mother used to hum. Keanu danced with her in the kitchen, both of them laughing at how bad their moves were. They spent the day reading, walking, and sitting in silence that felt like gold. Then, just after sunset, a sound broke the spell. A car tires on gravel. Anna looked out the window. Her breath caught. Paparazzi, she whispered. Keanu followed her gaze. A man stood near the trees with a camera. They found us, Anna said, heart pounding. How? Keanu didn't answer. He moved fast, pulling the curtains shut. Anna stepped back, hand over her mouth. Panic rising. They'll twist this, she said. They'll make it something ugly. Keanu stepped in front of her, calm and firm. Let them, he said. We know the truth. But Anna's chest was tight. Memories of past headlines flooded her. I can't go through that again, she said, tears rising. Not after all this. He reached out and took her hands. Listen to me, he said. Whatever happens out there, it doesn't touch what we built in here. They can't reach it. She wanted to believe him, but her walls were rising again. Keanu saw it. Don't disappear on me, he said. Not now. Anna looked at him, trembling. I'm scared. Me too, he said. And then finally they did what they hadn't done before. They held each other. Not as comfort. Not as a thank you. But as something fragile and real. Outside the camera clicked. Inside, something unshakable was born. The headline, the silence, and the choice be the next morning. The damage was already done. Anna's phone buzzed nonstop. Her name and Keanu's were all over social media. Headlines screamed in all directions. Keanu Reeves and Ana de Armas spotted. At secret cabin getaway, romance or recovery? Stars escape to woods after breakdown rumors. Ana de Armas. New love after grief. It wasn't just one photo. It was 10, maybe more. One of them wrapped in a blanket on the porch. Another of Keanu handing her a coffee. Worst of all, the photo taken just before they closed the curtains, where Anna's face looked tired, afraid, human. They didn't even ask. They just published. Anna sat on the couch, phone in her lap, face pale, her jaw clenched. Tears didn't come this time, just silence. Deep and cold, Keanu stood nearby, arms crossed. The fire was out. The cabin felt smaller now. I thought we were safe, she whispered. So did I, Keanu said. She turned to him. They're going to twist it. Say I used you. Say you pitied me. Say I'm unstable. Let them talk, he said. Easy for you. You've survived worse. No, he said firmly. Not easy. but I've learned. What they say matters less than what we choose next. Anna stood up, hands trembling. I can't go back to pretending. I can't smile for the cameras after this. Not after feeling this. Keanu stepped toward her. Then don't. What do you mean? Don't go back to who they expect. You 2B, build something new, something real? With you? She asked, eyes searching. He didn't answer quickly. Instead, he took her hand and led her outside. The air was fresh. The forest shimmered from last night's rain. The world was still beautiful, even after being invaded. With me, he said, but not just with me. With yourself, on your terms. Anna looked at him, really looked she saw. Not the actor, not the symbol. Just a man, offering her something rare, space to be whole. How? She asked. Keanu pulled a folded paper from his back pocket. I wrote something, he said, after you fell asleep last night. She unfolded it slowly. It was a letter, not to her, but for her, like a prayer, like a hope. To the a woman who thought she was broken, you are not a story that ends in pain. You are a chapter between sorrow and strength. You are still becoming. Anna couldn't read more. She folded it back, her hands shaking. No one's ever written me anything like that. I used to write letters to ghosts, he said, but this one. I wanted you to read while you're still here. She took a deep breath, and in that breath she made a choice. Okay, she said. What? Then let's not hide, are you sure? Keanu asked. They'll come after us harder now. Let them, she said. We tell the truth. Not for them, for us. Keanu nodded. They packed the cabin slowly, like they were closing a sacred chapter. Back in the city, everything moved faster again. Flashing lights, photographers, microphones shoved in their faces. But something had changed. Anna didn't flinch. She stood beside Keanu at the press event. Not as a couple, not as actors. Just as two people who had found something deeper than noise. When the questions started, Anna stepped forward. Yes, I was hurting. Yes, I went away. And yes, Keanu was there when I needed someone most. Not because he's a star, because he's kind, because he listened. The reporters were quiet. She wasn't finished. I'm not ashamed of needing help. I'm not ashamed of crying on a train. I'm proud, because from that moment, I stopped pretending. Keanu placed a hand gently on her shoulder. And what we found, he added, wasn't gossip. It was healing. That night, the headlines changed. Ana de Armas speaks her truth. Powerful and unfiltered Keanu Reeves shares quiet bond. With co-star, what we found was healing, of course. Some still twisted the story, but more people listened. More people related. They received letters from fans, not asking for autographs, but sharing their own pain. Their own train rides. Their own moments of almost giving up. And slowly, something happened. Anna and Keanu started hosting small private retreats. Not for actors, not for celebrities, for anyone struggling with the silence of grief. They called it the morning room named. After the phrase Anna's mother used, wait for morning. They didn't preach, they just listened. Just sat with people the way they had once sat with each other. Quiet, present, real. Years passed in one day. During a walk through the same park where they'd made their first rules, Keanu stopped suddenly. What? Is it? Anna asked. He looked up at the sky. I think I'm ready, he said. Ready for what? He smiled softly. To live the next chapter. Anna took his hand. Let's write it together, she said. And they did. Not perfectly, but honestly. Because sometimes the unthinkable act of kindness isn't grand or loud. Sometimes it's just sitting with someone in their darkness and saying, I see you, and I'm not leaving.